Page 49. So listen, in English, you guys with me? In English, there's certain verbs. When the main verb is a certain verb, it tends to be followed by either an infinitive or a gerund. Okay? So we're going to look at some of these, and they're pretty useful. Students always ask, well, how come I couldn't use an infinitive right there? And I say, it's because of the verb. And you're thinking, well, how am I supposed to know? Well, there's a lot of them, but these are some of the most common ones. And once you know them, it keeps you out of trouble in your writing. Okay? Abdul Rahman, read the top part here for us, will you? Some verbs
can be followed by either an infinitive or a gerund. Sometimes with no difference in meaning, as in a group below. And sometimes with a difference in meaning, as in a group B.
Yeah. So the point is, you guys see the verbs in the box here?
Yeah.
So they give us 9 different verbs. And when you see these verbs followed by either an infinitive or a gerund, the meaning is the same. It doesn't change the meaning. Okay? So these are kind of nice. They go both ways. How about, will you read the list of verbs that we have?
Begin, start, continue, like, love, prefer, read, can't stand, can't be.
Good. Now, look at A, B, and C. They just give you some examples. Go ahead, Turkey. Read A, B, and C.
It began to rain. It began raining.
Same idea. I could say it began to rain, or it began raining, and it makes no difference. Read the next one.
It started to work. I started working.
Same thing.
It was beginning to rain.
Yeah. It was
Beginning
to rain. Okay, that's interesting. In
like
C.
in the past.
Yeah, I mean, well, yeah. They give an explanation of that. Look over here in the little box, okay? It says, let's just look at the beginning. It says in A, there's no difference between began to rain and began raining. There's really no difference. If the main verb is progressive, what does it say happens?
An infinitive plus a gerund
Is
usually used as in C.
okay. So all they're saying is, let me just throw it up here so it's clear. It was beginning to rain. All right. So what form of the verb is this? Right here. What is that thing?
Past progressive.
It's past progressive. So all they're saying is,
It was beginning to rain.
I was beginning to rain? Woo! That's not good. It was beginning to rain. It's a past progressive, which means all they're saying is whenever you use a progressive of any kind in the main verb, use the infinitive, okay, not the gerund. You don't want to say, it was beginning
To rain.
raining.
Or raining.
Usually. There might be some weird situation where it can happen, but 99% of the time, if this is progressive, use what? The infinitive form. You okay?
Is there a changing in the meaning?
No.
Well, the whole point is don't do it. So just always use an infinitive here when this is progressive. So you'll never use the gerund anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Look at group B. Now these guys are interesting. Now we're going to change the meaning of the word. All right, and they give you 5 different words, and we got to look carefully at each one of these. The first word is remember. Okay. Remember.
Just this word.
Yes. Well, there's more, but these are the most common, and they're just trying to teach you a little bit at a time here, okay? But whenever you see remember, what are the words? Remember,
Forget.
forget, regret, try, stop. It's going to change the meaning, okay, when you use an infinitive or when you use a gerund after it. So let's take a look. D. Iyad, read D.
Jody always remembers to lock the door.
Good. So what do we have there? We have remember plus
To look.
Yeah, what is that? To look.
Infinitive.
The main verb.
So you use remember as the main verb,
Gerund.
followed by what's to look?
Infinitive.
An infinitive. What does it mean?
To lock the door.
It literally means remember to perform a duty. Alright, and they put, or a task. Or, and they get one more, or responsibility. So, when I make, Judy always remembers to lock the door. That means she remembers because it's her job to remember, right? Can you give me another example with an infinitive? I always remember to...
Call my mom.
I always remember to call my mom. I mean, that's important, right? It's your responsibility. Give me another one.
Can I say I don't remember?
You could make it negative. I didn't remember to...
Come.
There you go. I don't always remember to come to class every day. So you forget your duty or your responsibility. So you can make it negative. All right, you guys okay with that one? That's remember plus the infinitive. It means to remember or not remember if you go negative, to do a task, duty, or responsibility. Now, look at the opposite. If we go with remember plus a gerund, let's take a look. Go down to F. Somebody hit F. Turkey, read F.
I remember seeing the Alps for the first time. The sight was impressive.
Yeah. Do you guys know what the word recall means?
Yeah.
Call them back.
Not recall them. No. Recall means they give you another word here. It says to remember is the same as remember. Okay.
What?
It's you know what it means to remember something, right? Remember something that happened in the past. When you think of remember, well, that's what you think of. So, recall means remember something that you did in the past. That's it. It's the normal understanding of the word. Okay? To recall something from the past. Alright, so can somebody give me another example? I remember
To the zoo.
I remember going to the zoo. You could say in a conversation.
I remember watching
There you go.
I remember watching the Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I remember watching The Fast and Furious with my friend 2 years ago, something like that.
But there is an audio.
Watching. I remember watching The Fast and the Furious with my friend. Okay, anyone else throw it out there?
When you was the ING, then bought two. I remember watching. I remember seeing.
Correct. The gerund is just the verb ing. So anytime you stick remember plus the verb ing, it just means you remember something from the past. If you stick remember plus the infinitive, which is to plus the verb, then it's weird. It changes it. It means to remember to perform a task, duty, or responsibility. All right. So I'm going to put one out there. You tell me which one. This one. All right.
Okay, it's easy.
All right. Yeah, I think so. I remembered to eat lunch yesterday. Yeah.
The first one.
Yeah. I remember going to the movie 2 years ago with a friend.
The second one.
So Gerund.
Gerund.
I
The
remember
last one. Yeah.
going
Good.
to the movie. Yeah.
Remember that.
That means I remember it from the past. Are you okay?
Yeah.
All right. Now let's look at a different word. Forget. All right. It works in a similar way.
To remember.
To remember or not remember, right? Forget means to not remember.
Yeah.
So if I use forget with an infinitive, look at the example E. Let's see. How do we read E?
Sam often forgets to lock the door.
Good. It's the opposite of remember. And it has the same idea, to not remember. You with me?
Yeah.
So it's easy to remember. It's just the opposite of remember, and instead of using, I don't remember, we just say I forget. So yeah, and it's like a negative. Okay? So it's the same as this, only the opposite.
It's the negative of remember.
What's that? It's the opposite of remember. Forget. Okay?
But the same meaning.
It has the same meaning when you have the infinitive on it.
Yeah.
Just the opposite of the meaning, right? But it's still, so you forget to perform a duty, task, or responsibility. So I could say something like,
I forgot to call my mom.
yeah, I forgot to call my mom last week. See, it was your job and you didn't do it. Now, if I change it to an infinitive, look at G.
I will never forget seeing the
Alps.
Alps for the first time. Alps.
The Alps, anybody know what the Alps are?
Yeah, the mountain.
Where are they at?
China.
No.
They're in Switzerland, France. I think they're
No,
actually in
no,
several
yeah.
countries in Europe. So good. Look at, well, what does that mean?
To mean I will remember every day all my life.
Yeah. And listen, they reverse the meaning, right? Because they put, I will never
Never.
Never
forget.
So
So that
I
means-
remember.
I always remember. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Good. All right. Now, there's a little note here. You see, I always read these because it seems like they always show up somewhere, like a test or something. I'm not going to put it on a test, but it's good information. You guys see prefer up here at the top?
Yeah.
Okay? They make a little note about, remember, prefer up here, it doesn't change the meaning when you use prefer. I prefer to eat lunch at first watch. I prefer eating lunch at first watch. It doesn't change the meaning, but it says, notice the pattern with prefer. It has a little different pattern. Prefer plus a gerund, okay? I prefer staying home to going to the concert. So when you say I prefer something, it means you like something over something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. you like
So it's kind of nice. You can show a contrast. Prefer plus the infinitive, all right, and that works with a gerund to do that. Prefer plus an infinitive, it goes like this. I'd prefer to stay home rather
Then go.
than to go to the concert. So it follows a little bit different pattern when you write it with an infinitive and when you write it with a gerund. So be careful with prefer. Okay? Look at forget. Again, where is forget? It's, yeah, okay, now that one, yeah, it's down here where it changes the meaning, right? It says, forget followed by a gerund usually occurs in a negative sentence or in a question. I'll never forget. I can't forget. So it's usually with a negative. Okay? However, have you ever forgotten? That's going to start a question. Have you ever forgotten to eat lunch? And can you ever forget, or are often followed by a gerund phrase. So all of those, that has a negative with the forget, okay? And it's usually followed by a gerund phrase. So, for instance, I'll never forget watching that movie. See that? Can you make one with the second one? I can't forget, use a gerund. I can't forget
Calling my mom.
calling my mom. Do the third one. Have you ever forgotten?
Have you ever forgotten call your mom?
Now that one's interesting. That works better with an infinitive, actually.
Have you ever forgotten to call your mom?
Yeah. So, I don't know, that one's different. It doesn't work, it works better. I'd put an infinitive by that one. Have you ever forgotten to call your mom, to eat lunch, to go to the movies with your best friend? And then, can you ever forget? Now that's a nice gerund. Can you ever forget? That's going to be a question.
Yeah.
Give me one.
Have you ever forgot?
No. Can you ever forget?
Can you ever forget to do your homework?
Doing your homework.
To do,
Yeah, it sounds a lot better with a gerund. Doing your homework. Can you ever forget
Can you ever forget going to class?
going to class? Good. Good. Yeah.
God, you ever forgot your ex-girlfriend?
Can you ever forget your ex-girlfriend? See, you didn't use a gerund or infinitive there.
Yes.
No, forgot.
Can you ever forget dating?
Dating.
Dating your ex-girlfriend?
Yeah.
Good.
Can I see, can you forget what happened today?
Can you forget? You can, but you just put a noun clause on there. Can you forget what happened today? You created one of those noun clause questions, right? Good.